He is fired up this morning and ready to go because it is official. Donald Trump is running for president, so there's a lot to talk about this morning. He's going to have to seal the Republican nomination, and that may be tougher this time around, as you can see here. Political editor Mike Flannery is here to break things down for us. Just give me your take first and foremost on the speech last night. He seemed much more subdued than in his speeches of the past.
He did. There were flashes of the old Donald Trump, but clearly somebody had been working with him, if not slapping him around, telling him, you've got to, we need a new act here.
Yeah. Stick to the prompter.
This was notably more subdued. Yeah.
Okay, so as we said, it's not the same avenue forward for him as before, starting with the fact that you're just coming off of midterm elections, and most of the candidates that he backed did not make it. What does that set up for him?
Yeah, he addressed that, but only the primary wins. He said, you know, people talk about that, and I won 98% of my Republican primary endorsements won. He didn't address the fact that in key swing states, election deniers in particular went down in flames. Now, there were some wins. Ron Johnson, within our viewing area up there in Wisconsin, he defied the early predictions and the early voter opinion surveys, and he beat Mandela Barnes, held on to his seat. Yeah. But across the country, a woman who'd been talked about as a potential running mate, Carrie Lake, lost for governor in Arizona and many others.
So you mentioned potential running mate, but there's also several names that are now being floated around as potential presidential candidates now that he would be going up against, at least in a primary situation. So, to get the nomination in and of itself, DeSantis,
Ron DeSantis, Glenn Youngkin from Virginia,
Pence.
Mike Pence, the former vice president, Mike Pompeo, and former cabinet secretary.
Chris Christie.
But, from Trump's point of view, though, the more the merrier, as Harold Washington used to say. Bring him on. He benefited in 2016 from a big field of Republican challengers. I remember in Iowa, he lost to Ted Cruz in that first in the nation run back in 2016. And in a preview of what was to come, he complained that it had been stolen from him. He complained that Iowa 2016 first in the nation voting had been rigged, and so it was a dry run for what would come later. Look, Trump's, I've seen he's in the low 60s in a crowded field, and in second place, Ron DeSantis down in the 20s, under 30. Right now, Trump's a prohibitive favorite to win the Republican nomination.
So you took us back to 2016. So much has happened since then, of course, and in a lot of people's minds, January 6th is still pretty fresh, and there are also several other legal challenges that have happened since then that are still underway. How does that work into all of this, and is he trying to kind of skirt around those by doing this?
Well, I mean, I had the former Illinois House Republican leader Jim Durkin on Flannery Fired Up last weekend, and he suggested that the reason Trump's announcing so early is because of all the Department of Justice investigations. There's the New York civil lawsuit that Tish James has brought there, the Attorney General. So he faces a host of legal trouble, but clearly now that he's an announced candidate, he's going to double down and triple down on, they're just persecuting me. They're going after me because I'm the political opponent to Biden. One more data point. There was a survey out done right around the election. Trump 44, Biden 43. A virtual dead heat with a margin of error of plus or minus 4 points. So look, I think he wins the Republican nomination, and he's a serious threat to President Biden's reelection hopes.
If President Biden ends up being the person who runs up against him.
If he ends up running.
We shall see. Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you being up early to chat with us.